Side 1 Mathematics Chapter 8 Part 1b Ratio. Now in this part of our chapter, we will be converting more of the ratio into fractions, and then we will use this concept to form algebraic equations and then solve for unknowns. And of course, we'll be handling some word problems involving ratio. Now let us begin. We'll continue with our chapter 8 part 1 notes, example number 12 and some O-level questions. Now in example number 12, we have this is given to us 3 over 7a. Now where does the letter a belongs to? Does it belong to the numerator or denominator? It belongs to the numerator, right? So I will actually have 3a over 7 to be equals to 1 over 5b, so it will be the b belongs to numerator will be 1b over 5. Now if I want to find the ratio of a is to b, that means actually I'm looking for ratio of a is to b can be written as an algebraic fraction form a over b. So our objective is to get a over b. Now, first thing that we have down here in this equation is quite complicated to have fractions. So what we're going to do is we're going to cross multiply to make the denominators or the fraction go away. Or some of you prefer to do multiplication of the lowest common multiple between 7 and 5. So you multiply by 35 throughout. Okay, but for me, I'll just do a cross multiplication. So in this case, after I cross multiply, I'll get 15a, 3 times 5, 15a, and 7 times b, 7b. Okay, if I were to write this into a fraction, so I'll need to have 15. I don't want I don't want b to be down here. I want b over this side. So I'm going to divide by b on both sides, such that now I will be able to get the fraction 15a over b to be equals to 7. But now we also do not want 15 over here, right? So we're going to, this is 15 times a, so we're going to divide both sides by 15. So I'm going to divide by 15, divide by 15, and then 15 will disappear, and I'll get the fraction a over b to be equals to 7 over 15. So therefore, the ratio of a is to b will now be 7 is to 15. Now, of course, this is the long cut. I can also get the shortcut. If I were to have that 15a is equals to 7b, the shortcut will be a is how many units? A is 7 units, and b will be 15 units. Have you gotten the answer? Now let's continue to the next part of the questions. Now, O-level question over here, we have a very simple word problem. An athlete spent 1.5 hours at the sports center. The ratio, 1.5 hours, this is the total amount of time, right? So the ratio of the time he spent changing, warming up, and running is in 2 is to 3 is to 7. Find the time that he spends warming up. Now I can find time in terms of hours, or I can also find it in terms of minutes. So for me in this case, I don't like to deal with fractions, so actually I'll prefer to change 1.5 hours into minutes. So this will be 1.5 of an hour, and that will give me times 60 to be 90 minutes. Okay, so now I have a total ratio. Now this 90 minutes is the total time he spent. So I have 2, 3, and 7. So the total number of units will be 2 plus 3 plus 7, and that gives me 12 units. So 12 units represent, please do not use the equal sign. It is a proportion, okay? So 12 units represent 90 minutes. Find the amount of time that he spends warming up. Warming up, changing, warming up, and running. So warming up is 3. So I'm going to look for 3 units. Okay, so I can easily divide by 4 to give me 3, or I can take 3 over 12, 3 out of a total of 12 times 90. So in this case, we have 3 over 12 times 90 to give me, divided by 4, 22.5 minutes. Now 22.5 minutes is also not a very proper unit, so I'll probably prefer it to be 22 minutes. 0.5 minutes will be 30 seconds. Okay, that's for my preference answer. If not, you can also write it in hours or even in minutes itself. Alright, next one, part 2. The percentage of the 1.5 hour at the sports center that he spends running. So he spends running, how many units does he spend running? Running is 7. So this is a total of 7 units out of a total of 12 units. So in order to calculate our percentage over here, so percentage, please make sure you write a description. So 7 units out of the total 12 units times 100%. And that gives me the number 58 and 1/3%. Now this is not a very nice decimal. Now some of you might prefer in a decimal place. If you were to do that, please write it as, this is 0.3333, right? So please write it as a recurring number in order to get the exact value. If not, I will leave it as my fraction, okay, the preferred form. Moving on. Next question over here. Ben inherits some money. He divides this money between education, holiday, and then savings. Okay, in this ratio. He puts $1,000 into his savings. Calculate the amount of money he inherits. So $1,000 into savings. Saving is 5 units. So it tells me that 5 units represents, do not use the equal sign, okay, represents $1,000. Calculate the amount of money he inherit. I have 3 and 4 and 5. 3 plus 4, 7. 7 plus 5, that's a total of 12 units of money which he inherits. So how do you work this working? I want a total of 12 out of 5 times 1,000, so represents 12 over 5 times 1,000 to give you the number. So therefore the amount of money he inherits will be 2,400. Have you gotten the answer? Next part of the question. Question number 13. Oh, this looks complicated. If they tell me that 3:5 is equal to this particular ratio, find the value of 21 over x over 8y. Before I even go there, let us try to interpret what is this whole thing talking about. Now we have algebra, so when we think about algebra in ratio in algebra manner, we are going to write this into a fraction. I have the equal sign. It says 3:5 can be written as the fraction 3 over 5. And then the other ratio over here will be 2x minus 3y over x plus 5y. What can we do to this equation that we have formed now? Okay, don't know what we can do, but never mind. Intuitively, we have an equal sign and 2 fractions on both sides. We can do the cross multiplication. What stays in the center? The equal sign stays in the center. So on our left hand side, we will have 3 times x plus 5y. And this side will be 5 times 2x minus 3y. Okay, and we have brackets. What do? We're going to multiply 3 times of x. 3 times x gives you 3x. 3 times of 5y, 3 groups of 5y will be 15y. Okay, I need to mention Ryan in this video. Ryan, please remember to multiply, not add the numbers together. Alright, and then 5 times 2, 10x. 5 times negative 3y, this is minus 15y. Okay, what can we do? We shall rearrange and put the like terms together. Okay, that's what intuitively I'll do. And in this case, I don't really like negative numbers. So I'll put my 10x over here. and I shall bring 3x over, so it become minus 3x. Then on the other side, I have originally 15y. Now some student will tell me, oh, 15y and 15y cancel, it becomes 0. That's not true, okay? Because this is minus 15. When it comes over here, it become plus 15y. So simplifying, we have a total of 30y to be equals to, how much is this? 7x. Okay, now I'm trying to get close to it. I know that 7x is equals to 30y. My question asked me to find, question over here asked me to find 21x over 8y. So now I know that 7 units of x is 30y. What is 21x? So 21x will be, I'm going to multiply by 3. So multiply by 3, it will give me 90y. So what I'm going to do is, instead of writing 21x, I'm going to replace it by the number 90y, which I got from here, right? Okay. And then over 8y, what can we do to this fraction? We notice y and y can cancel away, no more. And then let us simplify 90 over 8. It simplifies to, please don't write in mixed number. Keep it as improper fraction, 45 over 4. So this is my answer. Have you gotten the concept? Now we have finished the examples in this part of the notes. We should follow up with the textbook questions. Now this will be the following textbook questions that we'll be going through on Monday. So Friday there's no lesson, it's a public holiday. Starting off with question number 1, we still have a little bit of time left, so we should continue with our practices. Express each of the following ratios in the simplest form. 0.48 is to 2 and 2 over 15. Now, what can we do? We don't like to deal with decimal and fractions. So my suggestion will be to change this from a decimal to a number, integer first. So, and I don't like the denominator 15. So what I can do is I will first multiply both sides by the number 15. Okay, so 0.48 times 15. And that gives me 7.2 is to 32. Alright, then I do not want decimal, so I'm going to multiply by a 10 to make it become a whole number. So if I multiply by 10 throughout, this is what I'll get. And next, I'm going to use my calculator to help me. And it simplifies to the ratio 9:40. Alright, next one, part G. We want to find the ratio of 1.6 meters to 36 cm. Notice that the units over here are not the same. So what should we do? You want to change everything to meters, or do you want to change everything to cm? So in this case, I'll probably change 1.6 meters to cm. 1 meter is how many cm? 100, right? So I will get it into 160 cm is to 36 cm. Now notice I've converted the units to be same, so there's no more units on each side. So I still use my calculator to help me, 160 over 36, and then write it in mixed number, no, improper fraction. I get the answer to be 40:9. Alternatively, you can try to divide both sides by the common factor. Question number 2. Find the ratio of A is to B in each of the following. So now for question 2, there is a shortcut, isn't it? So I know A is the bigger one. So 2 units of A will give you 3 is made up or is equals to 3 units of B. So A is actually the larger number of units. So A is to B is actually 3 is to, and for B it's 2, so answer 3:2. Part B, I have the same similar stuff. So in this case, if I want A is to B, A is 2 over 5, is to B is now 3 over 4. Okay, but I do not like a denominator, so what I can do is I multiply by the LCM. What's the LCM of 5 and 4? 20, right? So I'm going to multiply by 20 on both sides. Going times 20 times 20 to everything, and then I'll get my ratio to be 8:15. Have you gotten the answer? Next, question 5, we have the following. X is to Y is to Z. So X, Y, and Z is 5.5, 4.62, and 33. I can change 5.5 to 5.5. 4.62 is to 33. I do not like decimals. There are 2 decimal places over here, so I multiply by 10, multiply by 10, multiply by 100. So I'm going to multiply by 100 to every single term. So that will give me 550 is to 462 is to 3300. Now the question comes, how can I simplify all of this? And I can see that there is quite a bit of common factors. So I shall first, they're all even numbers, so divide by 2 first. That will give me 275 is to 231 is to 1650. Let's check for other common factors. Can I divide by 3? 275 divided by 3? No. 231 divided by 3? Yes. 1650 divided by 3? Yes. But since 275 cannot be divided by 3, so no common factor 3. Let's see if we can divide by 7. 5 is obviously not. 7. 231 divided by 7, yes. 275 divided by 7. No, okay, cannot. So we try on to our next prime number. After 7 will be 11. Let's try 11. 275 divided by 11 gives me, 25. 231 divides by 11 gives me 21. It works. 1650 divided by 11 gives me 150. So I shall divide throughout by 11. And that gives me 25 is to 21 is to 150. Have you gotten the answer? Okay, one more question before we end off for today's lesson. In the 2016 Olympic Games, the ratio of number of gold medals won by China, to the United States, so China is to US, is 13 is to 23. Given that United States won 20 more gold medals, more, right? So the keyword here is more. So what is the difference between the number of units? I add 23 minus 10, that gives me 23 minus 13, that gives me 10 units. So I know that 10 units represent, please do not put the equal sign, they are not equal. This over here has no units, whereas the other one is number of medals. So 10 units represent 20 medals. Right, and then find the number of gold medals won by China. So now I want 13 units. So in that case, it will be 13 out of 10 times 20. 13 out of a total of 10 times 20. So some of you will take 20 divided by 10 to give you 2, and then you multiply by 13. The answer will still be the same. You have 26 medals. Okay, now please try to complete the rest of the homework questions on your own before we review them on Monday. Now we have come to the end of this part of the chapter. Please fill up the following page, your cover page, to review your understanding and check if you have any difficulties on the questions itself. Alright, see you for the next lesson.